that position?
Have faith in yourself. Network. Surround yourself with good people. Who aren't gonna just tell you yes all the time. People who are objective. Um, and people from different parts of the industry. Don't always have people with this who are on the same, doing exactly the same thing as you. You can't help each other that way. Like if you got two DJs, like you need a promoter.
Mm.
Like, so you might as well have a DJ, a promoter, and then our artist, and then you've got things that everyone can help each other out on.
I want to say a huge welcome to Nexus Talks. It's so lovely to have you here. I'm so excited to talk to you. I've got so many questions ready, but before we get into that, can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Right, I'm DJ JDEN. I run the record label Bass and Eights, which has brought the likes of Exo Man, J Dragon, Troy Glasgow, worked with Ed Sheeran, um, Dua Lipa, Etta Bond. Yeah, the list can kind of go on. So yeah, that's the record label side of things. They would call it left field hip hop or left field music because it wasn't really mainstream, but it banged and it was always about the club. Bass and Eight stands for Basslines and 808s. So it's a mixture of the UK culture of like dubstep. That's where it originally kind of inspired me. And down south, American hip hop. So that plies, so dubstep and plies. And that's what kind of helped cultivate the sound of Bass and Eights. Outside of that, I'm a DJ, as the name says. Open format, started as a dancehall DJ up in Coventry. And yeah, it just kind of progressed from there. And as a producer, yeah, I've been a producer for about, oh gosh, it's almost 20 years now. um, yeah, just under 20 years. And that started because when I moved to university, um, I was part of another group. Shout out all the G&E from old school, it's like teenage times. But yeah, moved out to Coventry and I had no one to produce music for me, no one to engineer, because back then it was expensive. Like studio time was very expensive. So I built my own computer and then just started messing around because when I was still in London, shout out Co DJ, helped me learn how to produce, like show me Reason and like how you put all of that together and how you make music electronically, because that was something that I was always interested in, but I didn't know how to do. So yeah, shout out Co DJ. And yeah, moved up to Coventry and then just started experimenting with like my own sound. I eventually got to a point whereby I wanted DJs to play it. And back then we didn't have Spotify and YouTube and all these different outlets. So I had to go up to the DJs and get them to like, do you like it? They're like, yeah, we like it, but it's a bit different. So we don't know if we can play it.
It's a bit different.
Yeah. Because again, like my sound's never really been traditional. I make the music that I like to make. I just make sure it bangs and it plays for the clubs. So that was when I decided to become a DJ because they wouldn't play my music. So I went, okay, I'll do it myself. So learn how to DJ, big up Ringo, big up Drifter, AV as well. Like these people really kind of helped and guided me, threw me in the deep end, but got me to the DJ, or the starts of the DJ that you see today. And then I started playing my own music in the clubs, along with like dancehall and everything else. And people were like, "Raw, what song is that?" Same DJs asked me what song it was, and I was like, "This is the one that I gave you." Eventually they started playing it as well.
Yeah.
So nice, but yeah. And then from that, I've always been a event promoter as well. Been doing that for a very long time, and been involved in events like the Bang Bang, which I'm still playing for till this day. Been running for almost 15 years now. Um, uh, yeah, there's a lot that I've done, and we kind of moved on to, what was it? Just before COVID, and I was speaking to Honor the French, who's a producer, and I was talking to him about Fête de la Musique, which is World Music Day in France,
Mm.
and I said, "How comes we don't do it over here?" And it's like, what do you know about it? Like, what do you know about that? I said, no, I know, because I've been into friendship pop for a long time. And like the kind of French music culture as well. So I knew a little bit about it, not a lot. And it was like, I said, look, can we do it? He goes, yeah, but COVID. I said,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? Let's just do it. Like, we'll do it digital, and if we can do it, we'll do it live as well. So that way we can incorporate people from other countries as well. And then we basically put the event together with a guy named Vito. And we did that at Bound Bar Brothers in Waterloo, the actual main live event. And yeah, that was sold out. We couldn't keep it. So, and yeah, that was, as Boris was meant to lift the ban, he didn't. So we still had social distancing throughout the whole thing, but then we still had to do this performance. So the logistics of it all was testing, to say the least.
Yeah, I can imagine it must have been very hard to control people, you know, especially when they're out like trying to enjoy music. It must be hard.
So it was an interesting vibe, is the best way I could say. But we pulled it off. And yeah, that was the birth of WMD Festival. So it was just a matter of trying to continue that, and spread that same energy every year. That's me in a nutshell.
You don't really do much, do you?
Um,
How did that all work? So did you just like, obviously one thing leads to another. I know it's never a case of I'm going to become a DJ and then you're just going down one lane. Loads of different opportunities open up. What's your favorite part about what you do, DJ JDEN?
I think it's collaborating with good energy. All the music I've made, like, has been, or even the best events that I've done, it's all been through collaboration. And when you can feed off good energy, you create something amazing. I've always been one to kind of try and capture the moment of what's going on right there and then, as opposed to pre-planning everything. I like organic things. So yeah, I think the collaboration with good energy, I would say, is what I like most.
I love that. And you said this festival started just before COVID. When's the next festival?
21st of June is the same day every single year.
Amazing.
Doesn't change. This year we're doing a collaboration with a visual arts company, so to put it. They're gonna help us with the whole media side of it and bring a 3D element and some other bits and pieces. So it's gonna look kind of nice. So yeah, that's gonna be on the 21st of June. We're condensing it a little bit this year, because next year we've got a bigger idea that we want to kind of bring forth. So I'll say,
You're not allowed to say anything about that?
I'll say anything about that.
Moving a little nugget of info.
No, none. But no, we've got bigger plans for next year. But we just had to kind of adjust. There's things that we want to do to make the experience a lot better. And that takes time. But at the same time, we still got to make sure that you're fed with some good music. So that's what we plan to do.
What do you think sets you apart from other festivals?
We've never really, it's not about the genres, it's not about the numbers, it's about good vibes and what you bring as an artist. And I've always been a true believer of that. I mean, you can, algorithms are all over the place. They control a lot of things, but good music and a good product, not even just music, a good product is a good product. And I feel that we do show that, and we try and make sure that that people get the best, regardless of whatever their situation is. I started from building my own computers to doing the things that I'm doing now because of the graft, and that's what I'm more focused on. So yeah, if you're grafting and you're doing your thing, it doesn't matter whether you got 10 people or 1 million. Like, it's about the energy that you're putting out and the energy that you're putting into your product.
Totally. And you know, there's so many things we're going to talk about. We're starting with the music festival just because that's the first thing that's popped in my head. But you've got such a wealth of knowledge and wisdom that's going to come with all of these different experiences you've had. Other than obviously the COVID social distancing at the time, what would you say is the largest or hardest challenge that you face organizing a festival like this?
Um, Finance.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Finance. That's difficult. I mean, all of the WMD festivals have been funded by myself and maybe one other person, but um, yeah, last year it was the whole thing was funded by myself. So it's like, right, how
Wow.
am I gaining this? And it was more because I know that it's a stepping stone process. I just jumped from one thing to another, and doing the festival, it was it's not like doing an event. It's not it's not just putting on an event. It seems like there's a lot more components that need to be in there. And even though I've got a wealth of experience, I'm not going to be naive and jump into going to do a festival and go, right, I'm going to need this from this person and that, and then not know exactly what to do with that finance. So I've always been a person that is like, you know what, I'll do it myself first, and
Right.
then once I know what the pitfalls are, then I can start going to others and then bringing in investment and things like that. I have to do the test run. I've got to do the test press, so to put it, um, for myself. And then I know, because otherwise you walk into situations that you not might not be aware of. People can pull the wool over your eyes because you're not aware of the pitfalls that were there. Whereas if you do it yourself, it's harder, it's longer, but you understand the pitfalls, and then that way when you go to get any kind of investment or you go to get help with something, then you know exactly what you need, or you have a better idea of what you need, and you can also save money in that way, like because you know you're a bit more exact with the result that you're after. um so yeah, I mean, I'm a practical person as opposed to the theory. Can be theory all day, and like the first festival showed us, we thought that the ban was going to get lifted,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it didn't. So what do you do? And it's again, it was such a unique situation because it was COVID, and the world had never seen anything like that. And it's like, how do you adapt to that situation?
Yeah.
Um, but it's the same thing that inspired the festival. It was like, right, I can get people from different parts of the world to also get involved in this and make it a bigger thing. Um, so yeah, that's what I would say. You have to get involved. You've got to get your hands dirty before you can approach other people. It just means that they can pick holes in what you're doing, pick holes in your armor, so to put it. And I try and make sure that the armor is as complete as possible.
That's actually such a good point, actually, about making sure your armor's on point, because if you are doing something new, it's so easy to listen to everyone's way of doing things. And as you said, sometimes it turns out being more expensive or even far away from your original idea.
Yes, definitely. Um, so yeah, it's very essential that that happens. And as I said, sometimes it is the longer way of doing things, but it doesn't mean it's the worst way. Sometimes that shortcut, it will get you there, but then there's loads of things that you don't know um, in that process. And being being a creative for such a long period of time over various parts of the industry, um, I've kind of learned to go, right, let me just actually do this and get my hands dirty. Um, and I feel that there's um, people try and do shortcuts.
Yeah.
Not really the best way to do it, but that's just my opinion. That's the way how I've done things, and that works for me. Might not work for everybody else, but that's just my belief.
No, I love that. Everyone's different, right? And everyone has a different idea of what they want their event or festival or whatever it is they're making to look like. So that I completely get that. And I think it's also really good to talk about what's difficult, because when I ask this question, people have different answers. Sometimes people are like sort and security, or sometimes people are like attracting the crowd. But I think once you've done it and you've attracted the right tribe, if you like, same people are coming back,
Yes,
and loads of newbies as well, right?
exactly.
That's the
So,
hardest thing, I think.
and it's been interesting because it's interesting to see the numbers on the different videos. Like we've got one artist, Tara, who actually performed at Ride London.
Yeah.
Uh, she's got 10,000 views on the video from WMD, because she used it for the platform that it was. Use it. Like, it's there, so use it as a platform. And it's also, to cut back to another point, I didn't want it to be a bougie event. It's like, well, what's the best way to describe it?
You can speak freely here, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want, I wanted everybody to be able to do what they want to do and use the platform as it was there to do. Not everybody can get into a festival or get onto a festival lineup, and WMD gives people that ability to do that without, I don't need to know you. You don't need to be part of a clique that is involved in this, that, and the other. I don't care about that. We don't care about that. We're just interested purely in the actual talent that's coming to us. And seeing a artist like Taro, who has only recently started doing music, and then going, right, would you like to perform at a festival? Yes. Cool. That's now on your CV. Like, and this is the whole point of it. It's for everybody, regardless of your numbers, just as long as you have talent,
Yeah.
and trying to keep that for as long as this festival runs. That's really a ethos that I want to maintain, and I do that within my music. So I like to bring that over to the festival as well.
I really respect that. Like, I know how hard it is for independent artists or even newbies who have talent but are not necessarily amazing at the marketing side. You know, nowadays to be an artist, you have to be sick at TikTok, sick at Instagram, be able to do your own music, engineer your own music, do everything. And it's kind of like the talent gets pushed aside because you've got so many other things to do. So I really rate that you give people the opportunity to do that. Let's say someone's listening, and they're an artist, they would love to like be in your next festival. What would they do? How would they get in touch with you?
Follow us at WMD.festival. Say, hi, I'm interested in performing at the next event. Okay, fine, no problem. We'll have an application form that we can send out to you. Obviously after this one, because we've had the cutoff date, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But for the next one, then you just keep sending us your stuff, and then when the application form's out, apply to it, and then we'll get you involved. As long as we like what you're doing, and it's, as we said, it's good music, and it doesn't have to be hip hop, it doesn't have to be R&B, it doesn't have to be anything traditional. It just needs to be good. That's it. There was a singer from, where was it? She's from South Africa.
Yeah.
Honey. She did her recording in a library, and she wore this like mask, like this golden glittery mask, and her voice was so enchanting. It was just beautiful. Like, I can't. And yeah, I'll send the clip. I'll send the clip over for you to add it,
Please.
whatever. But her voice was just amazing, and it's something. It's an artist that I probably never would have come across in my life. Like, but this festival has enabled me to hear a broad section of music and talent that I might not have never ever come across. And hopefully we can give that back to the world and to the internet and to the algorithms that are out there.
I love that. And what's your most memorable moment, whether it's from putting on this festival or your experience as a DJ? What would you say something that sticks in your mind?
I got two.
Go for it. I want to hear about it.
Performing after Major Lazer at Valifest for MTV Europe in Amsterdam, and performing after David Rodigan. Those are the two times that I have been nervous going to DJ.
Really?
Like, performing after Major Lazer, when I realized, because I remember we're over there with Arthur Baker, who was part of Mantronics. And I was EXO's DJ, and all the music that EXO was performing was my production.
Wow.
And then I was playing Major Lazer from Pon the Floor, was even known to be cool or anything like that. And I remember people coming up to me, "What's this song?" I'm like, "It's just
What?
major. I don't know about this." And they're
Oh,
looking at me like,
wow.
"No, we don't." So then to be in it, then to be at a festival, and we're dancing away, and all I can hear is major laser. Man, I'm going, hold on. And then EXO turns to me, he goes, "Yeah, we're after them." And I went, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, we're performing after them." I went, "Okay, cool. I'll be back in a minute." I'll walk because we've been awake for about because we had the gig the night before in London, and
Yeah.
then we flew over to Amsterdam, and then we went to the hotel and then straight to the festival. So it was like I think we were awake for about 26 hours, kind of thing. Like,
Wow.
so I've got all of that running through me. I'm tired. Like I've got adrenaline running through me, and I'm there, and they're giving me vodka Red Bull, so I'm sipping on the vodka Red Bull, trying to calm down. And then I've got people at the backstage trying to talk to me, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I need to find some sanctum. So I eventually found like a corner and just had to like just calm down and just like breathe. It's like, right, because these were people that I admired what they were doing, the way how they were fusing their sound, and it's kind of what I've always done with my sound. They were like electro dancehall, and I was like electro bass, like mixed with like hip hop elements and things like that. So it was like, wow, like these guys are really doing stuff. So when it was our time to go on, and came out and we're performing to about 5,000 people, and
Wow.
I'm going, this is insane. And it's like, don't mess up the mix. That's all I'm thinking in my head. Don't mess up the- Whatever you do.
Did you mess
And
up the mix?
no, I didn't. No, I
Course
didn't.
not.
No, of course not. No, it was calm. And yeah, we just come out with a track called we'd just done Mosh Pit because we were promoting his EP Unwrap the Club. So we had a track called Quag on there, um, which got like was it 250,000 views within 24 hours when it
Wow.
came. That was like 11 years ago. So and then we had like another track called Bass Made a Pussy Wet, and that track went off. Like it always went off whenever we dropped it. It was just crazy. So to be performing these tracks, and you're like, I just made this the other day, and I'm performing this to all of these people, and yeah, that was incredible. Like, and I'll never forget that moment. The second one was performing after David Rodigan, and where were we? We're in Plan B in Brixton. It's now called Phonox, and I was playing at Bump. It's like then it was easily one of the most successful nights. Because you would have had Yo-Yos that came first. Then Bang Bang came through, which was in Dalston, and then Bump was like the weekly of like the Bang Bang kind of thing. Like the Bang Bang kind of had you could play anything there, and Bump was like the underground bangers, dubstep, hip hop, house. Like it was just if it was banging, it's getting played there. And we had people like what's called Gabrielle, San Gabrielle from Berlin. Um, but this night, I remember getting a phone call from Marnie, and Marnie goes, "Yo, you're on the same lineup as Rodigan, yeah?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool." He goes, "Do you want to play before him or after him?" I was like, "No, if I play before it, no." I said, "I'll do after him." He goes, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sure."
I'm
So
sure.
yeah, like sweat like dripping from my forehead. So so yeah, uh so the night came up, and I remember being in the crowd because he was doing like a history of dubstep, and
Nice.
he was just going off. And if you've ever seen David Rodigan perform, that guy at the age of 60 will tear down any dance. Like, and it was intimidating.
Wow.
I was in awe at the same time. So I remember being in the crowd going, like losing my mind. There was rhythms that he was playing, but he was playing like the originals, and then he would play like the dubstep version. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's what that came from. And I love finding things like that. I like finding out where things are sampled from, where the origins are from. So him giving like a dubstep history in the middle of Brixton was just like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. And I remember like about 10 minutes before the end of the set, I remember going, oh, it's my turn. I'm next. I've got to top this guy. Oh no. So I found that I went to the back room, to the green room in Plan B. And I'm in there, and I think someone tried to come in. I'll just close the door on.
Yeah,
Just like,
let's
right.
get out.
No one. I need to realign my chakras right now because they're all over the place. And yeah, composed myself and got to the DJ booth. And as I got to the DJ booth, Dixon Brothers from Kiss FM turned up, and I'm like, yo, because I've known them from kids.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm glad to support you, man. Like, I'm going, yeah. Thanks for the support. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out what my first song is, because this, like, I was playing a lot of dubstep at the time.
Yeah.
Where he a litany, a history of dubstep. I was like, right, I can't even come in with dubstep.
Yeah.
If I do that, then I'm literally trying to clash him. That's not going to work. But I've got to keep up the vibe. And I remember I had a dub plate of what's it called? Nicki Minaj did it on them.
Oh.
Like my Jaden samples all in it and cut up.
Ooh.
And I was like, right. And I remember him going, yeah, on to the next DJ. And I kind of felt a way that he didn't actually say my name. Like,
Oh, did he not?
No, he just said, yeah, on to the next DJ. And I kind of looked at him like,
I'm
all
about
right,
to show you who I am.
I'll tell you who I am.
Yeah.
So I started that dub, but it's like JDEN, shit. And yeah, it went off, and it was just like, yes, right. Again, just got to make sure the first mix is fine. And I think that went into Drake Up All Night.
Nice.
Yeah, it was one of the cleanest and best sets that I had done to that date.
I love that.
It's pressure makes diamonds, as they say. And yeah, like those were the two most memorable sets that I've done, I must say.
Do you know how refreshing it is to hear someone with such a crazy amount of experience like yourself saying that they get nervous?
Yeah, it's human.
That's mad.
No, it's human. It's human. And people say that they don't. I kind of have to look at them and go, there must have been a situation.
But that's what I mean.
No one's that confident.
You're being honest about it, and that's really refreshing, because this is why I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to like an aspiring DJ or event organizers who are looking to make a name for themselves in this industry? Because you're being very real and being like, hey, I've had moments where like, I know I'm sick, I know I'm talented, but I get scared as well. So what advice would you give to people that are in that position?
Have faith in yourself. Network. Surround yourself with good people who aren't gonna just tell you yes all the time, people who are objective. And people from different parts of the industry. Don't always have people with this who are on the same doing exactly the same thing as you. You can't help each other that way. Like if you got two DJs, like you need a promoter. Like, so you might as well have a DJ, a promoter, and then our artist, and then you've got things that everyone can help each other out on. Do you see what I'm saying? And you'll have cross knowledge. Like you'll be able to cross your information, because you're gonna have different experiences, but they all align with the same thing. And be prepared to work hard. It's not an overnight success. Regardless of what anybody tells you, it's not an overnight success. If you don't put in the work, and you don't put in the hours, the sleepless nights, the headaches, the talks from the missus or the mister, whoever it may be, like you're gonna get it. And if you want to do this, you're gonna have to be very, very headstrong, but also have your compromises, and stick to your guns. If you believe that it can work, then just make sure you've got some kind of plan that you can follow. Sometimes you're going to come off track, but as long as you have an idea and a goal that you want to get to, then you can do anything that you want in life. You just have to work hard at it, as your parents have probably said. Put the work in, and after a while, you learn to work smarter, not harder. But you only learn how to do that once you put in the harder bit.
Amen. Honestly,
You make
amen to that.
smarter decisions.
One thing you did say though that I think is really hard for some people. You said have faith in yourself. How do you keep going if you're having a low moment or like a sense where like you feel like you're not going anywhere? What would you say to someone who's going through that? They're trying, but it's just not clicking.
Have an outlet. You need to have an outlet of some kind. I do martial arts, like that's my outlet. I need to do that.
Which martial art do you do?
I do jiu-jitsu traditional.
My fiance does jiu-jitsu as well. You
Yeah.
gave me jiu-jitsu vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
Does he do BJJ or does he do?
I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't really fully listen. He's always like, "Let me show you this new move I learned." I'm like, "Absolutely not. Go practice on someone else."
I just learn from him, and then apply it on him.
God.
It's the gentle art. It's fine.
So jiu-jitsu you do, and does that help you release any like worries you have? Or
Oh, definitely. It helps you focus. And yeah, like especially within the entertainment industry, there's so much rubbish. There's bad talking. There can be negative energy. Even the people around you, even though they might have the best intentions, just they don't get it. And if you're not in it, you kind of don't get it. So you need to be able to kind of center yourself. Some people go to the gym, but I would say something physical, like exercise, running, like yoga, Pilates, do something that is physical, like, and then that kind of helps you realign yourself, I would say. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Like I would do something that gets your blood going, so you can get out that bad energy. Like it's like on, and then you go back to doing what you're doing, and then aside from that, having a good people around you, level-headed people around you, because we all make good and bad decisions, and having the right people around you, sometimes when your perspective on something, because you're going through something, is completely different. It's like, what did they mean by that?
Yeah.
And like, are they taking the mic? Like, I'm not having it. And then someone goes, have you looked at it from this angle? You go, no, like, nah, this is the way it came across to me. Nah, chill. You're gonna have to think of a way to deliver that in a better mechanism. And having those people around, around me, both family and friends, and I've been lucky enough to have JDEN around since I've known him since a kid. So we've been through doing events and everything like that since, well, I can remember. So I'm lucky I have a soundboard and he has a soundboard that we can bounce off of each other, and kind of help keep us on the sights on the goal. So yeah, having good people around you and a physical release.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And you said keep your sights on the goal. I'm not even going to try and squeeze information about next year's WMD Festival, but I will say, is there anything else that you really want to achieve or something that you're aiming towards? Or are you not allowed to tell me?
No, I can tell you that. I've got my project, my first solo project. There's no artists on it.
Wow.
It's just purely instrumental. It's just my music. Coming out in July. We're just confirming a date because we're sorting some things out at the moment. But that's called Hyperspeed at Midnight. Because I've been working with artists for over 10, 15 years, I've always been behind the scenes. And I've got a side of me that likes dance music and has that dance inspiration and not necessarily hip hop. So this project's kind of allowed me to express that side to the world. So it's really, and yeah, it's the first time that I've done that. I've released tracks and instrumentals before, as I said. I've done remixes for people and all the rest of it, but this is quite personal to me, because I did it over a period of like COVID and things like that. So it really allowed me to disconnect from everything that I was doing like years before. And it's just like, right, what do you want to do, JDEN?
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do this. So yeah, I want to put out this project. That's one thing that I definitely have to get out of my system.
Are you allowed to tell us the name, or am I going to have to wait for it to drop in July?
Hyperspeed at Midnight.
Beautiful.
So yeah, that's gonna be out in July, and yeah, big up Mishi as well on the artwork. This is very inspiring artwork. I won't even say too much about it. When it comes out, you'll see it. But yeah, like I want to make sure that that's done. And Bass and Nates, the record label, will be bringing something special very soon. On top of obviously releasing my project. And yeah, I just want WMD to hit the heights that I have in my head. It will be very, very special, and it'll be beneficial to a lot of artists.
Thank you so much for sharing everything you have and being so real about like your experience. I genuinely really appreciate this conversation, and I wish you the best of luck with your release in July. And I can't wait to hear what's going to happen at WMD Festival next year. Where can people find you in case they want to like check out what you're doing?
All right, you can find me at DJ_JDEN on everything. Just type that in on Google, you'll find me.
Nice and easy.
And then at WMD.festival, if you type in WMD Festival in Google, again, you'll see us come up. And yeah, Bass and Nates, my record label, Insta, BASSN8S, Bass and Nates.
Thank you so much, DJ JDEN. It's an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
I'd love to do it again.